I'm Yanis Engwar, and in this sophomoric guide, I'm going to show you some more of D&D. So, basically, I'm going to hope that you signed up to D&D Beyond so you can create your own character and follow those steps. It's very beautiful. I'm not going to be going over the part one. If you actually are reading the handbook by hand versus going through the website, this is the same order. I actually just revised it slightly. I just kept the chapter names. This is how I'm going to be making these videos. I'm not going over part one. I'm going to start at part two, specifically adventuring. Alright, so if you own the player's handbook, whether if it's on D&D Beyond or the actual book itself, this is the actual table of contents. So in this video, I'll be going over adventuring, um, and then I will be going over the other ones as I showed you. This is going to consist of time management, not really though, it's more of movement really, because time is in the sense of days and weeks and all that jazz. Movement is basically travel. The environment is basically, um, you know, rough and all that jazz. Social interaction, obvious. Resting, you probably heard of short rest and long rest. That's what that's referring to. And the adventures in between is kind of like downtime and, self reflection and all that jazz. Here we go. So basically, the way that your adventure would go is the DM would describe the environment, and then you, as the player, reacts. As I said, everything's measured as it normally would in time of minutes, hours, days, weeks, and potentially even months, depending on how your DM wants to play it. Um, Specifically, the way that you would move along is that you would have a marching order. This say if you have four players, you will have the fighter go first or the ranger or whatever. Um, Obviously, there would be other things that would affect it, but essentially, at a normal pace, you will move 3 miles an hour, 24 miles a day. This is typically known as one hex or one, um, what's the other, square. The only other thing you need to know is if you go at a slow pace, you're able to use stealth. If you go at a fast pace, you get a penalty. If you have a mount, specifically think of you have a horse. You can usually go double all the time, so you can actually go 48 miles. Typically, obviously, that's up to the DM. Obviously, if you're going at a full gallop, you wouldn't be able to go the full 48 miles because it gets tired just like you. Still, same penalties. Um, Next, we're going to go and check out the environment stuff. We're going to revert back to movement in a bit. When it comes to falling, you get damage every 10 feet. Um, so you get 1d6 per 10 feet. Um, some it technically max it out at 20, but some DMs want to play it forever. I mean, it depends on how you want to do it, terminal velocity and all that jazz. Suffocation rules is pretty simple. It's 1 minute plus one constitution. So think of it as if you're a fighter with plus two constitution, you have 1 minute plus 2 minutes, which is 3 minutes. That's all right, then we're gonna do the food and water. This is depending on the DM how they want to really play this. Um, Usually, if you have you can have rations to bypass this, or you have a the goose. Is it gooseberry? Something. It's one of the berry spells. Um, Gooseberry. This is really Wonka. Now we're all the way down to interacting with objects and people. You just say what you want to do, and DM tells you to make your rolls and play it out as you would play it normally or with a different attitude. Maybe you want to describe the rogue being very deceptive, very sly. Maybe you wanted the barbarian to be very intimidating, or you want the magic caster to be very feeble and go, can we, and bam, read his mind because he can has that spell. Next, we're going to check out resting. Basically, that's a short rest. Basically, in a short rest, you can spend your hit die, which you may remember when you're setting up your character. That's what you rolled for max HP plus your Constitution um, to get your health back. Then you have a long rest, which gets you back for. This is measured in hours, so a short rest is measured at minimum is 1 hour, a long rest is 8 hours, and an 8 hour sleep. Essentially, you get everything recuperated, all your spells, all your HP. Um, then you also get your hit dice back too if you went a short rest and used any. All right, and then there's some minor, between activity stuff. Most people don't really play into this because the way you play naturally, you may not have any lifestyle expenses because you may be going from inn to inn or you're camping out a lot, so you don't need to pay any money to upkeep besides buying some food. Um, Obviously, during your downtime, if you have some time before bed, you can make some things. Again, discuss that with your DM. There's all kinds of things you can do. Um, yeah, it's that simple. All right. So in this tutorial, I did skip some things in the adventuring because I'm going to be adding them to the combat. I think that's the most appropriate way to do that, to demonstrate it. See you next time.